Hey everybody, welcome back to the Vitalist Spark podcast. I'm your host John Ford, and welcome to our first Minisode in about 6 months. Today we're asking for moments of your time to talk about this moment, the moment that is fall 2020. A somewhat staggering list of events has led us to this point. It's difficult sometimes to process them all. Things feel overwhelming and give many of us a more heightened sense that there isn't much we can do. But there are a few things we strongly recommend this fall, and we are definitely not talking about new TV shows. In short, this fall is about standing up, leaning into our challenges, and being counted for our actions. You may find it hard to believe, but 2020 can actually still be more pivotal and more impactful than it already has been. As much as some would have you believe otherwise, there is both time and opportunity to act. There are 3 key aspects of community health, well-being, and vibrancy that you can affect in the near future. So, let's get to this episode. It's time to talk about what we can all do between now and the end of September, between now and the beginning of November, and between now and the end of December. Between now and the end of September, be counted. As this episode is being released, we have 1 week until the conclusion of Census 2020. What's the impact of everyone currently living in Arizona being counted? How about billions of dollars over the next 10 years? How about 1 or 2 new congressional voices in Washington, D.C.? And that's just for starters. So many decision makers use census data at local, county, state, and federal levels, in the public and private sectors, in business decisions, and in policy discussions. Census counts are used for redistricting representation, too. In short, the census is about community voice, representation, and power. It boggles the mind to think how important getting this count right truly is. Of course, Census 2020 has been affected by COVID-19 and by changing deadlines for when the count will end. Outreach to historically undercounted communities such as communities of color, our oldest and youngest residents, rural residents, college students, the LGBTQ community, and tribal communities is generally done through intensive neighborhood and person-to-person canvassing. Those efforts were adversely affected this year, putting those communities at an even higher risk for an undercount, despite best efforts by outreach workers. Bottom line, the census is ending on September 30th. That means that there is still a short window of time to still make a difference. Talk to family, friends, neighbors, acquaintances. Talk to fellow coworkers, students, and exercise buddies. Spread the word on your morning walk or bicycle ride, at a respectful distance, of course. The quickest and easiest way to get counted is online at my2020census.gov. It's safe, it's easy, and it's crucial to our state's future. That's my2020census.gov. Get everyone living in Arizona counted. Everyone! And do it for one great reason. Because every person not counted in Arizona means that Arizona loses out on resources, voice, representation, and the power to build healthier, more vibrant communities. Between now and the beginning of November, make your vote count. First and foremost, be sure that you are registered to vote no later than October 5. Interestingly, this will be the first presidential vote for young people born after 9/11. And even though National Voter Registration Day just took place earlier this week, you still have until October 5 to get registered to vote. Once you're registered, it's time to act. It's time to separate the signal from the noise. Without question, there's a lot of noise being made right now. Many voices are straining to be loudest, to be quote-unquote right, and to be the most persuasive. Many others are straining for you to listen to their opinions about a candidate or an issue. Keep calm and vote on. Focus on the signal, on your signal. Voting is a fundamental function of this democratically structured country. It is how we choose who represents and makes decisions for our communities, from school districts to the presidency. Your vote is your signal, your decision. Many times on this podcast, there have been references to policymakers and decision makers. This fall, your voting helps signal who the policy and decision makers will be. Don't get lost in the noise. Follow through on sending your signal for community health, well-being, and vibrancy. It's really a matter of 3 steps. Step 1, look inside yourself, your household, your friends, and your neighbors. Look for alignment with the community you want instead of listening to arguments other people might want you to be distracted by. Step 2, learn enough to know who you can vote for that can make that community possible. Endless debate? That's some TV talking head's job. Your job is to learn enough to make a choice. Step 3. Vote. Match what you want for your community with what candidates propose to do. There are school district board members and city council members and county commissioners to choose. There are state legislature candidates who will receive your signal. And yes, there is a job in Washington, D.C. up for grabs. Stay above the fray. Don't let noise disrupt your signal. Make your signal heard. Vote. And to make sure your signal is sent, put 3 dates on your calendar. The week of October 7 is when early ballots will begin to land in voters' mailboxes. October 27 is the last day to mail back a ballot. Due to COVID-19, a lot more mail-in votes are expected, so please don't procrastinate. November 3 is Election Day. Ballots not mailed by October 27 must be physically handed in at voting locations or secure ballot drop boxes no later than 7 p.m. on Election Day. For all things voting related in Arizona, visit arizona.vote. That's right, arizona.vote. Check your registration status, register to vote, read up on COVID-19 information and voting, preview all federal, state, legislative, and judicial candidates, and review the official text of 2 statewide ballot measures. That's ARIZONA.VOTE. Between now and the end of December, keep COVID counts low. Here's the thing when it comes to COVID in the next few months. This virus does not care one bit about Halloween, Thanksgiving, or the breadth of holidays that make up the time between now and the beginning of 2021. COVID-19 will not be taking the holidays off, which means that we cannot be taking any time off from being COVID smart on a daily basis. And flu season smart too. So please stay focused. Get your flu shot now, because the combined effect of the flu and COVID could be significant. Wash up, mask up, physically distance whenever you can, and keep a heads up for each other out there. Double points for masking up, by the way. It can help prevent COVID and the flu from spreading. Remember, we are in a marathon, not a sprint. By being in this together, we will get out of this together. That's it for this episode. Remember your 3 tasks. Between now and the end of September, get counted in the census. Between now and the beginning of November, make your vote count in the election. Between now and the end of December, keep COVID counts low. Do your part to make sure that everyone living in Arizona gets counted at census2020.gov. Vote, starting with the website arizona.vote. Separate your signal from the noise and complete your ballot to send that signal. And all the time you're doing all those things, stay COVID smart. That's 3 ways to make your actions count. The census count, making your vote count, and keeping COVID counts low. These takeaways are crucial to the health and well-being of our communities, which means that they belong at the family dinner table as much as they do in your place of business, in city and town halls, and in the domains of healthcare and public health. So please, share this independent episode far and wide. Subscribe to the Vitalist Spark podcast to get notified as soon as new episodes are released, or listen to the Vitalist Spark just like you listen to your favorite music on Spotify. Give us your feedback wherever you get your podcasts, or you can also give us your input the old-fashioned way. Your corrections, complaints, and compliments, they're all welcomed by emailing us at feedback@vitalisthealth.org. Finally, remember this. With great responsibility comes great power. We'll see you back on the road to well-being soon.